back, students, as we do part 2 of our Batman Cape Crusader series episode. No, it's not a series. We're just doing 2 episodes. It's bonus episodes. There we go. Bonus
duology.
Duology. There
Bonus
we go. Yes.
episode. Yeah.
Absolutely. So welcome back as we talk about the second half of Batman the Cape Crusader. Sly, how have you been? Let's pretend we haven't been talking.
Great. You started this recording as I was putting fruit snacks into my mouth. That did crack me up. But yeah, other than that, we're back. We refreshed. We got drinks. We're ready to tackle the rest of this episode. The season.
It's not 1 o'clock in the morning. It's fine for me, at least. So I'm not gonna touch too much of like history class. If you want more of that, you can find out in our previous episode. Please watch it. Please watch the series in general. Watch all 10 episodes. Watch part 1 of our DC graduates, and now watch. Obviously, you're watching this, so watch this. So our host history, we already spoke about it in episode 1. I had some knowledge of like the pre-stuff beforehand. Max dropped it. Amazon picked it up alongside my Merry Little Batman, which is a Gerard Way animated thing for Christmas that's Batman related. It's awesome. Damien's adorable in that. It's great. We're gonna talk about some Robins today, which I'm really excited about. But man, when we get to the episode, it's gonna be the bulk of this. But yeah, Prime saved it, and thank God they saved it. Honestly, it's like one of the highest rated series on Rotten Tomatoes, I believe. One of the highest rated series on Prime. I think it was voted one of the best series that come out this year so far, and we're not even done the year yet. We're in September as of recording.
And the bulk of things are going to start releasing like at the end of this month. So
yeah, so that's
we'll
really
we'll see how that holds up. But
we even have we are Fanology partners. With Point of Progress. They didn't give us anything special for this. Mario just yelled at us to watch this. Not from a Fanology standpoint. He just told us, hey, it's content. You guys have a DC show.
As a good friend, he said, this. Get your shit together. Do this. Yeah.
And thank God he did, because it's honestly really good series. It's honestly, God. Yeah. I've had a lot of fun. We'll talk about it more into this.
I had a couple things for our history class.
Oh, yes, please.
Dive straight in. Most of the writers are the same, but we do get Mark Bernardin. Bernardin? I don't know. He wrote on 6. Everybody else we talked about last episode. The directors are all the same. But I completely changed who I put down in the stars. So if you want to just run through that, they're completely different names.
Yeah, absolutely. We talk about Hamish Linklater, who is from Midnight Mass, who portrays Batman, and all the previous people. But now we have some other people we want to talk about. We have John DiMaggio, who plays Bullock, correct, in the series? I believe he's Bullock.
I believe so, yeah.
Eric Morgan Stewart, who I believe is Gordon. Greg Griffin, amazing voice talent that does not get her just dues. She does a variety of voices throughout this second half of the season. Actually, most of the season. Jason Marsden is in this. McKenna Grace has a very good cameo in episode 8, which is going to be our big episode that we're going to talk about. Because it has literally everything that we both love that is Batman related.
Everything, yeah.
And Peter Jessup. Studio is Bad Robot production-wise. WB animated for the animation. And it's streaming on Prime legally. You can watch it legally with ads, no ads. There's a way you can pay for no ads. Maybe there's other stuff you can do with no ads. Who knows? Not gonna say it. And then the plot recap was recycled from episode 1.
Sure. Okay, I'll give you another stab at this ad read. Ad read? Plot recap. You know what I'm talking about.
We'll have ad read too.
All right. After a family tragedy, affluent philanthropist Bruce Wayne transforms into the Batman you can tell we've been drinking, where his crusade for justice spawns unforeseen ramifications. Cheers.
All right, and
we got some fun characters in this one.
Yeah, we have some newer characters.
We got the Gentleman Ghost. We got Deadshot for a second. Onomatopoeia shows up in a really interesting way. We got I just wrote Dr. Leslie et al. Because we'll get into everybody who shows up in that episode when we get there. We got Two-Face making his like true debut, and of course we got a teaser for the Joker because we can't do a single Batman thing without the fucking Joker. But it's
Yep.
fine.
Yeah, it could have been anyone. It could be Ra's al Ghul. Like they could, you know.
Oh, I would if they brought in Ra's al Ghul before the Joker, I would eat that shit
Can you imagine?
up. Where was Bruce before he came back?
Uh-huh.
Around the world training.
A
Bring
golden
Love that.
age Ra's al Ghul too. Like play it off like very pulpy action adventure. That'd be so cool.
Yeah,
Who knows? Maybe,
right?
maybe we get that in season 2. Maybe he leaves Gotham for a little bit.
God, I hope.
Also, fun fact. We'll talk about it more in
Or
the.
get a flashback.
Oh yeah, it'd be fun too. Yeah, play it up very like old school, like pulpy Avengers esque kind of deal. This is the third appearance in any media that's not comic book specifically of onomatopoeia.
Interesting. Where would
Second
be the first
animated. The first time was there was a series of shorts made for, I believe they may have been for the DC app. I don't know if you remember that failed DC Universe app that then
That
went
like
over to
the
Max.
DC showcase or whatever?
Yeah, I think they had, that's where Titans initially was like launched on, and then season 4 of Young Justice was on there before everything moved over to Max, and then Max shit the bed. Fuck Dave Zasloff. There's our quota for the day. But
Gotta
onomatopoeia.
get it in early, you know?
Oh yeah, onomatopoeia appeared in that as like a kind of joke. It's like a very funny thing. Will Friedle is very campy, it's like futuristic Green Arrow. Like he talks to his bow, like they're best friends. Like it's a robot. It's hilarious. It's really cute. And this is the second anime appearance, but onomatopoeia apparently is the Superman and Lois. I did not know this because I've not delved too far into that series. And it's the one
On my list. I gotta
character.
get to it.
Yeah, what I've watched, I loved, and I just needed to literally sit down and watch
Everybody says it's
from
excellent.
beginning to end.
Yeah.
Yeah. Onomatopoeia is the one character, and I won't say the creator's name because that plays into quiz time later, that the creator has specifically, and not to be a dick, has been like, hey, don't do this character. Because he literally doesn't work outside of comic books because of the nature of his name. Onomatopoeia, he uses the words. Like, when he cuts something, he goes, or he shoots he says bang. Like, and it works in this season. We'll talk about it more in a little bit, but it is interesting that the specific character, the creator, I'm sorry, says don't use him. He literally doesn't work outside of the medium of comic books, and people are like, fuck it, we're gonna try. It's like, seriously, I told you not to. Don't do it. It's up to you. That's on you.
Oh, sorry.
That's on you, man. But we're gonna get into the episodes proper right away. So we're gonna kick it off with episode 6, Night Ride. And my first note was, holy shit, the Gentleman Ghost. What's your knowledge of Gentleman Ghost? Sai.
Vaguely, here's the thing. I saw the character and I was like, I've seen these comic panels before, but I don't think I've read any of them.
No,
It's one of
very.
those things that you see floating around.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. My first reaction to this was, okay, Lucius, just using up Bruce's resources for your own gain. That's fine. Cutting a deal with some, I think the racist old guy and his ghost. Flip that around. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
so
watched this episode.
it's funny because you don't, in this series, it's very down to earth, very, so far, in the first 5 episodes, very down to earth, very noir, and very pulpy. As we mentioned, it is the golden age of comic books. So we have Batman has the short gloves. We haven't even talked about his suit much. He has an homage to his.
Love the suit.
It's so good. I almost kind of wish it had the purple, like his original costume, like having the purple gloves and maybe the inside of the cape being purple. But they do this really cool, like he still has the angular like mask with the short, ears. Really great job of like adapting like the golden age look of him. But so far, so very grounded. So very grounded, very normal things. Clayface, even to a certain degree, he's not a meta. He doesn't get like
Yeah.
the big Clayface that we seen in the comic books and stuff like that. Basil's
No,
very
it's just
like,
mad scientist,
yeah,
experiment gone wrong.
and normal stuff in the 40s and 50s that you would get. And then you get this episode and shit just gets crazy and you get a straight
I
up
think it was
ghost.
perfectly placed.
Mm-hmm.
Like we were going on, it was so straight laced, and like the Harleen episode was perfection, like no
Mm-hmm.
notes.
No.
But we needed something fun after that, and to immediately get a ghost story. Like I was like, okay, all right, I see what you're doing. I see how you're playing with the
I
universe.
I swore that it wasn't gonna be a ghost. Watching the whole episode, I'm like, it's
Mm-hmm.
not gonna be a ghost. But then he kept
They're
going
gonna
through stuff. I'm
Scooby
like,
Dooify it.
yeah, and I'm like, wait,
Yeah.
is he really going through these walls? And then like they make a note of
Mm-hmm.
Batman touching the wall, and
Yeah.
then he's even like, this is obviously his first time dealing with the supernatural as Batman. He's like, nah, this shit ain't
Mm-hmm.
real. There's got to be some explanation for this. And now from now on, he's gonna be like, no, ghosts are real. That's the thing.
For me, it was like the ectoplasm goop thing on the like
Hmm.
shredded paper that he finds. Then I went, oh shit, that's a real ass ghost. Was
Yep.
not expecting that.
Yeah, and then this also does something that if you're a fan of the supernatural elements in the DC universe, they introduce a character that's very fun to watch in Papa Midnight, who is sometimes an antagonist to John Constantine, but is kind of based in Gotham in a lot of stories. And we haven't really mentioned him. He's not even mentioned in the actors are in this, but Cedric Yarborough, who I know from Reno 911, he's a great character actor. He's very funny. He pulls so many different characters in this series, specifically very random background characters. But he's Papa Midnight. He's also Rupert Thorne in this, and he does a great job in this whole series. So shout out to Cedric Yarborough.
Could not tell you that those were the same people.
Oh, that's how talented he is. Like they're literally
Hmm.
like, unless you know his cases, you've seen him in like so many things. You're like, oh, I can hear like the little weird
Hmm.
pitch of his, not weird, but like the pitch of his voice.
Yeah.
Um, but this delves really into some deep like supernatural stuff that you see in DC Comics, and to have a fairly obscure character. We kind of talked about this before, like when we had the Floronic Man and Batman and Harley,
Hmm.
and Swamp Thing. Like these characters are kind of, they are used in main DC continuity. They are part of the continuity, but they're always like, hey man, there's some weird shit that happens in the Earth over there. Like it does affect the world here, but like
Yeah.
that's just happening over there. Like there's people who deal with that shit, and Batman's not really one of them. But in
Hmm.
this, he deals with Papa Midnight. Like he actually talks to,
Swamp
and
Thing's kind of just over in his own universe and interacting with his own people. Like if occasionally there's a crossover, but there's kind of a hard line there.
yeah. Mostly it's like Superman and Batman dealing with their
Yeah.
shit, and then it's like, oh hey, there's like this thing, like all life kind of revolves around this thing called the Green. It's like, wait, what? Don't worry about it. But like,
Don't worry about
you
it.
get Papa Midnight, and he's done well. Like he
Hmm.
fits in this world. He fits in this golden age comic. And I know like we've had golden age stories that had ghosts and things like that, but like how the series has been going up to this point,
Hmm.
did not know that we were going to get this. Did not know that this was going to legit be, here's the introduction of what the supernatural is in our universe. Here are these characters you may know. You may know Gentleman Ghost, who's this racist ass ghost. They bet on the wrong horse. Of course, he bet on the fucking redcoats. That's why you die, bitch. Going to the Boston Tea Party, asshole. Nah, I love it. I also love. I have a note here. He's about to say something racist to Lucius Fox,
Hmm.
who's buying off this land because he wants to build like affordable housing and stuff. You shout out to Lucius Fox, just being a generally good dude. But he wants to buy.
Lucius. I don't think he gets enough in this year. I just wanted a
No,
hint more of Lucius here.
yeah, he's so fun. He's so fun in this, and he's
Hmm.
also not regulated, but he's accounted in this. He's not like a tech,
Hmm.
person, so he doesn't have that kind of background. But his interactions with Alfred, he's doing all these cool things for the community. He's like, Bruce, if you want in, you're more than welcome to, but I have enough money to, buy this land and kind of make low income housing for Gotham's people. Like I live in the city, you don't know how this is, right?
So true. Fucking Bristol boy. fucking off
man.
over there.
But my note here is because Gentleman Ghost is about to say something racist to him. And I was like, nah, Lucius has no problem shooting a fade with a racist ghost. Please believe. He's like, hey, there's a quick second there. Lucius goes from like, hey, man, I went to Harvard Law. Be like, I'm from the streets. I will fuck you up. Say the N word. I dare you. I fucking
Brilliant.
dare you. I don't give a fuck if you're a ghost. I will figure out a way to beat your ass.
And the owner was like the descendant or whatever was just kind of there. He was like, "Oh shit, like all right, whatever."
I died laughing as they're running away, and Lucius goes, "When I buy this land, I'm burning this house down." He's like, "Please do,"
Yeah,
because he's not even with
not my
like the
problem
fact.
anymore.
He's like, nah, I don't fuck with racist people. I don't care if that man's my descendant. Fuck that guy. Yeah, burned this motherfucker down. This is right. But this was like a really. I didn't have too many notes other than the fact that we had Papa Midnight and fucking Gentleman Ghost, and I was like, wow, we did that. And that's kind of a thing that happens the rest of the season. You get like these really kind of small cameos. Are like, wow, you're really just telling us about these characters. So, any notes
Yeah,
specifically
no,
about Night Ride?
my entire note for this was Ghost Horse question mark, which was at like the very beginning of this episode. I really enjoyed the train element. I thought that was fun and
Oh, yeah.
kooky. Like, of course, like the ghost is robbing like a train. Like he's like a highway bandit, whatever. Like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Like railways are just like a young upstart transportation in his time, right? I thought that was cute and fun. I really liked the animation with all of the like goopy ectoplasmy parts of him. The possession scene was whack, and the little vial ass thing that like collects them. I want to know so badly what he's doing with that. What are you doing? Why did you need that? Like I get why you needed that to contain them, but like what are you using that for? I have so many questions.
And the fact that
I
he's
want Papa
afraid.
Midnight to be recurring.
Oh yeah, the fact that he's
season
afraid
2.
of Papa Midnight and Papa Midnight has some kind of connection to Gentleman Ghost. I'm like, I could read
They've
so much
interacted
into
before.
this. Yeah, I was like,
Sexual tension? I didn't say that. You said that.
Immediately, I was like, I in my head canon, I was like, I bet you Papa Midnight was a slave. Gentleman Ghost was his owner. He probably beat him, and Papa Midnight is like, I know voodoo. I will whoop your ass. Do not fuck with me. I was like, I just read so much into it. I was like, man, Papa Midnight's just gonna fuck with him for the rest of his life just for being racist. Like, not even a ghost, just for being racist. Like,
Yeah, just the reason. I can excuse the fact you're a ghost.
yeah, yeah. I don't give a shit about that. You can rob people all you want. I hate that you're racist. I don't give. That's what I. That's the line, sir. That's the line. Yeah, let's talk about.
No, overall, really solid. I think it was the perfect, like a turning point in the season. We needed something to shake it up. It was well placed. It was well written. Overall, I was just vibing. Like that episode was like a no thoughts, just vibes.
Yeah.
Like there was some episodes where I have a lot of thoughts. We'll get to them.
Always coming up. And it's a good one too. Yeah, but next we're moving on to episode 7, Moving Target, where a hit is placed out on Gordon. And a bunch of assassins come to collect the bounty. And it starts with one Floyd Lawton.
Which Gordon? Dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun.
Floyd
Oh yeah, freaking
Lawton.
Floyd Lawton shows up.
He gets one shotted to start off. I was like, they're like, yeah, we got Floyd Lawton in custody. I'm like, dead shot? What? There's a dead shot in this universe? Like, that's great.
I love that for him. Again, season 2. We're watching you.
Mm-hmm. And then immediately we're introduced to the main villain we'll follow for most of this, which is, again, I mentioned him earlier, Onomatopoeia. And again, his creator, because I won't say his name because he is part of the quiz time, is mentioned.
So disappointed when I can't remember who created this character.
You will. You definitely will be. Especially because you're bad with names. And I wrote this not doing it on purpose. I was like, fuck, I forgot this shit. Like, that you're bad at names. I'm like, fuck.
I'm so bad at names.
I know. I was like, you're going to be so angry with yourself when I tell you who it is. But Onomatopoeia's creators always said, this character cannot and should not ever be in anything other than comic books because of the nature of what he does. He just uses sound. And he's not a meta. He just when he kills people, he's a serial killer that kills mass. That's the basic gist of Onomatopoeia. He debuted in Green Arrow comic books of the early 2000s. And
That tracks. Fucking
oh,
Green Arrow.
of
That's the
course,
kind
yeah.
of weird ass villain he would have.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And then so like for instance, like stuff he does like when he slits somebody's throat, he'll go like, he'll make the sound of whatever
Hmm.
the slice is and things like that. From my research of I mentioned earlier, I didn't know he was in Superman and Lois. We do get a gender bent version of that in that universe, and
Interesting.
onomatopoeia is a meta in that universe.
Huh.
So it's a sound assassin basically, like uses the sound
Mhm.
to try to kill their target. Um, it's not anything against like the character, the actor, or anything like that, but this is the closest that I was like, this kind of works for onomatopoeia.
Mhm. I thought it really worked.
And there's
I
some
thought
fun
the
gags with it.
yeah, the design was interesting,
Mm-hmm.
and I loved that being the tie-in for like getting all of the like comic-y like word splashes that when you try to throw into a like moving picture type like media, it can feel kind of campy and quirky and
Mm-hmm.
like outside the scope of the type of story you're trying to tell. But for it to be contained within this one character in Gotham, no less, where, there's all sorts of freaks and weirdos. I say it with so much affection. Um, and for that to just like be his like shtick, his gimmick, I thought
Mm-hmm.
worked really well. I thought it was really well done. I really enjoyed
Yeah,
that character and how he was portrayed.
and this is where when I talked about Catwoman's episode, kind of in the previous episode of DC Graduates, like towing the line of like campiness to what we actually see in this grounded story. This one kind of jumps the rail a little bit to campy, like dips his toe and then comes
Hmm.
back and then dips it
Yeah.
a little bit and then you get a really cute moment at the end when Batman finally defeats Onomatopoeia and says "Bam," which is a callback to the '66 Batman. Uh, and I thought it was really good. A callback to that series and B good way to take out Onomatopoeia in this episode. My thought with Onomatopoeia was like, damn, like he works. Specifically
Hmm.
in this series. And again, for context, like again, he appeared in Green Arrow initially. We have the Arrowverse. We have how many like 8 seasons of Green Arrow.
Hmm.
Live action. Every season apparently after season 1, the writers and showrunners went to the creator and was like, "Hey, can we use onomatopoeia?" And he would say no.
No.
And they respected his
No.
wishes all 8 seasons. And finally, Superman and Lois is like, "We're gonna use
We're doing
onomatopoeia."
it anyways.
I was like, "All right, fine. Like you can't. We were being respectful. We're just gonna fucking do it
Mhm.
now at this point. Like we don't have. Have you seen what we did to Alan Moore in Watchmen? We don't
Mhm.
have to respect your wishes. Okay. Who the fuck do you think you are? Okay. No.
Respectfully, you're being disrespected.
Yeah. Yeah. Take it up with Alan Moore if you feel disrespected, and Dave Gibbons.
Um, yeah, my only notes for this episode was when they first mentioned Corrigan, I was like, I know you're important. I cannot remember why for the life of me. And then I was like, oh shit, okay, all right.
That was a fun twist. Talk about how I don't like Bullock being like so corrupt in this. To have
Mhm.
Corrigan be on the up and up for most of this like the season, and then this
Mhm.
turn at the very end, like you get the double turn because you get the fact that the hit's not on James Gordon, it's on Babs. I
Son
was like,
Babs, my
oh
girl.
shit, and then I'm getting goosebumps again. I was like, oh shit, I was like, wow, that's a great twist in this episode, and Batman being the one. It felt like when you watch a thriller or a horror movie, it was like, hey, yeah, we defeated the ghost. Like, no, that's actually this thing. Like, you had to do this. It's like, oh
Mhm.
shit. like that dread that hits. And I was like, Gordon, you're not
I
the target. Like your daughter is. Wait, what?
I loved that the C plot of this episode was basically Batman trying to figure out like who took the hit out, like on who, and like that was like just like this like
He's the C plot too. That's the other
underlying like
thing.
moment. It was a C plot. Like I love that Batman may be the titular character, but he's not the most important character in most of
Mm-mm.
these episodes.
No.
He's just kind of there to move the plot along for everybody else.
Yeah.
And I think that's where Batman thrives, honestly. Like, my favorite stories I call Bat adjacent. I think he creates such a fascinating universe simply by existing. And I love exploring universes uh, surrounding him where he is not the focus. That is,
Mhm.
like, my favorite thing, which is kind of why I was a little hesitant about getting into the show, right? It is Batman, the Caped Crusader. I don't know if there's a that in there. Whatever, you get my point. Um, and to like go through and like it really took me until season or episode 7 where I went, oh shit, he's like not super the main character of the show, and I love that for him.
Yeah. His job literally was to find out who put the hit out, and then he happened to find out that the hit wasn't even on James. It was on Barbara, and that's all. He shows up to the scene. He's like, "Hey, you guys good? Yeah, he needs medical attention. Oh, okay, this guy needs. I'll fight this guy, but just to let you know, while I'm fighting
Hmm.
him, the hit's not on you. It's actually on your daughter. I'll be back." And it fights onomatopoeia. And
Yeah,
then Corrigan
that's it.
turning out to be the second. Like that's the other double thing. That Corrigan's in on it. I was like, wow, holy shit. I did not expect Corrigan to go corrupt. And that was fun because the whole time you
Hmm.
see Corrigan as this very, astute, very altruistic cop. And you're like, oh, wow, like, he's in on Gordon's, like, good side. He's not like Bullock. He's not like Flass. And no, he is. There's so much
Yes,
corruption. It's almost
absolutely.
sad to see. Like, oh, man, they got
Yeah,
everybody.
it's really Gordon Montoya and Bruce against the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially at the end of the season. And maybe Barbara as the public defender, but like
Hmm. Yeah,
that's
but
it.
like she's not on the like fighting crime side of things. She's about the upholding justice side of things. She's there.
Mm-hmm.
She's doing her part. But yeah, the other note I have is in all caps, hell yeah, Babs, where Jim was like, "You got your 38?" And she's like, "Yeah, I do." And then she starts murking these dudes out the back window. Hell yeah, love that
No
for her.
problem.
It
No
was
problem
awesome.
whatsoever. Mm-mm.
No problems.
Mm-hmm.
Great shot, obviously, as she has to be.
Yeah, and they don't play it off too. Like it's
Yeah,
like almost like it's a negative thing. There is obviously a no killing rule in a lot of Batman media, and Batman himself doesn't have a killing rule in this. We get close to it, which is in the Golden Age he has killed.
yeah.
Before retcons and stuff, he did kill. He did have guns. Before that was considered a no.
Talk about guns later.
Yeah, and that kind of gets flipped on its head in this, but I think this episode 7 was really a really strong episode, and then leads into I knew from jump when I saw these two little orphans running around. Episode 8, Nocturne, where we're introduced to.
Well, that was my thing. Was before we even started the episode, I was at the credits of episode 7, and I saw the little pop up for the next episode was called Nocturne, and I went, "Oh shit, this better be good!" Like you can't invoke like that name and not have a banger
Uh-huh.
episode.
And it really, really
That's a
was. Out of all these episodes, they're very kind of like very serialized, like very like they have an A B plot, and then the C plot of like overarching like what's going on with Harvey is there. Like it starts to build here a lot
mhm.
more. But we're introduced to two orphans, one named
Orphan.
Dickie and a redhead named Jace. And immediately I was like, holy fuck, we got Dick Grayson and Jason Todd. And the fact they made him redhead, which is canon to the pre 52, new 52
Yeah.
stuff, and then this orphanage is run by Dr. Leslie Tompkins.
Love it. Yeah, I personally am a Latina Jason Todd truther. However, I do love the return to the redhead. I think that's so
Uh-huh.
brilliant. And it fits this show specifically so well. I screamed when I saw them. I screamed when I saw Doc Tompkins, my beloved. I love that she's running a orphanage, I guess. I
Yeah.
also screamed when little Dick Grayson sneaks out to go to a freaking carnival. No
Yeah.
shit, of course he does.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, this is like home for me. I'm definitely gonna go
Yeah,
to this." And their
I'm gonna go hang out with the
designs,
carnies.
their designs are so cute. Like Dick having the very traditional like
Freckles.
golden age thing. Jace with he's missing a tooth. He looks like a little beat up, like he should, and he's just like, "Where's my big brother?" And I was like, "Oh
Looks a
my
little
god."
beat up as he should.
He's so fucking
Not wrong.
adorable in this. And McKenna Grace is such a great bad guy in this as Nocturne.
Mhm.
She does such a great
Mhm.
job. But like seeing little Jason being so cute and innocent, I was like, oh, this hurts so bad. It just reminds me that in an episode in
This.
the future, it's gonna hurt so bad again.
Huh.
And Dickie, and then we're not even just that. And then you hear, oh, we have another kid missing, Stephanie. I'm like, no fucking
Stephanie
way.
Brown. No shit.
You have fucking Stephanie
And then we
Brown,
get Carrie Kelly later. Like all
and
the
she's
kiddos.
such a sassy little girl.
Oh,
Oh
I
my
loved
gosh. Yeah, I
her.
didn't put it
Oh,
in quiz time, but her line when Nocturne starts to burn in the sun, and he's like, yeah, we should just let her. And Bruce just looks at her. He's like, what? She's a monster. I was like, fucking Carrie Kelly is the shit. And she's
mhm.
got the glasses. And I'm like,
Oh, I
fuck,
ate that shit up.
this episode specifically, it was just made for you and me
Mhm.
because we get our
It was
Robins.
made for me personally, like
Yeah, yeah,
literally.
specifically, yeah, because
We
we
got
get
all my
Robins. We
favorite
don't get Tim.
Robins. Yeah.
We don't get Tim.
No
We don't get
Tim. That's
Duke.
fine.
We don't get Damien. We don't get any of that shit. No,
Duke
we
is too busy having a normal sleep schedule.
that's fair. But we get Dickie, Jace, Stephanie, the fucking long forgotten Robin. Unfortunately for we love her, but like
We
comic
love
wise, they
her.
always make that
We
joke.
will never forget. Yeah.
Yeah. Stephanie and Carrie as these little orphans
Mhm.
that Leslie takes care of. And then not even that. We didn't get to talk about it. One of the carnies is a man named Waylon that has reptile skin.
Don't get me fucking started about Waylon Jones.
I was like, Crocs
I
is this
fucking
too? I was like, this is
love
all for Sly.
it's for me personally. Yeah, that was the other point. I screamed. I love Killer Croc. I don't know how much Killer Croc I've read, but fanfic Killer Croc has such a big place in my heart. Like that man, that man is Roy Harper's sponsor, and that's all you need to know about him. He's
Oh
so
yeah, I always
perfect.
forget
I
about
love
that.
him so
That is
dearly.
canon. That is actually canon.
That is canon.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, that's I love Waylon so much, and I have such strong feelings for somebody who's not read nearly enough Waylon Jones in the comics about how he's portrayed, and I loved him here. He was so good.
I also love that
This
him, the bearded
whole
lady, and all these
episode.
other people beat the shit out of Bruce.
Yeah. Before we get to that, okay, I have so many notes about this.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, Dickie being back with the carnies,
Ugh,
that feels
his
like home.
people.
That killed me. But when they started, they like opened the carnival or whatever, and all the like kids showed up, and then Harvey showed up. There was this one frame where he's like towards the like back right, and he moves like closer to the frame, but he's not walking. He just glides like a fucking JRPG villain. I was like, what is this like Persona ass shit? Like, what are you? What are you doing? He's
Oh my
just in the
god.
backward. He just glides forward at an angle. I was like, all right, okay.
I have a note here when Harvey shows up because he's like so shocked that
Mhm,
Bruce like donates to an orphanage and all this stuff. And I was like, okay, we
mhm,
get the persona that Bruce is like just a flamboyant ladies man who like constantly
mhm.
sleeps with women, doesn't call them back and all this stuff. But like even that persona, this would make sense. That Bruce would be like,
Hmm.
all right, yeah, I get I could be an asshole, but like the orphanage, bro, like I lost my parents, and she took care of me.
I'm literally an orphan. I
Like,
relate to
yeah,
these children.
like I don't care how
Um,
much of a piece of shit I technically would be, like, in falsified to
yeah.
these people, but like, duh.
So,
And he's so
so
like offended. He's like,
I
oh my god, you give money to an orphanage? And he's like, yeah, like what the fuck?
I loved Doc Tompkins where like Bruce tries to like brush it off in his like typical like Brucey like
Hmm.
whatever airhead way, and Leslie's straight up like you're not fooling anyone. We see right through you. Like you don't need to pretend. Like I know who you are.
Oh,
I know who you are. I stand by that. Every iteration of Leslie knows exactly who Bruce is as a person, both
oh,
in and out of the Cape and
yeah,
Cowl.
yeah. She spent too much time around that little boy. Like, nah, she knows. She 100% knows. And then yeah,
Hmm.
again we're introduced to four Robins, and at one point I like at this point where are Tim, Duke, and Cass, and then
Hmm.
we got Croc, and then out of
We
nowhere it was
got
like
baby
Stephanie.
J being like, I need to find my brother, and I sobbed. And then Stephanie disappeared. And my biggest problem with this episode, I will not let this go. Stephanie is wearing green when she goes missing. That's
Yeah,
fake. I don't believe that. That's
yeah. No, I need
incorrect.
that spoiler purple. Like, what do you mean?
She was wearing purple. It's okay. You misspoke, Leslie. I know you know in your heart of
Oh,
hearts that she was
yes,
wearing purple.
I did. Yeah, I definitely was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
That's the 1:30 in the morning talking.
Yeah. And then, oh my god, I love that Brucey gets his ass beat by the fucking carnies. Good for them. Honestly, like, of all the people to stand up for children, they
Yeah,
would be the ones to do
I
so.
love it. Which
We love to
wait,
see it.
wait. First of all, you broke this door. Second of all, why you acting for asking for kids? You're a fucking weirdo. We're gonna beat the shit
Yeah.
out of you,
You're the creepier.
Waylon.
Yeah.
And then here comes Killer Croc out of nowhere. Like, hey man, why you being weird?
You're weird. Yeah. And then after he gets beat to shit, Alfred's just sitting in the car reading a book.
Great ghost. Yeah.
Yeah, it was at least the Grey Goose. Why I started writing this down is I was like, why is Alfred reading a book with a title that has the wrong form of gray? It has the American with the Gray instead of the British with the
Uh,
Grey. And so that was my first question. And then I looked at the name and it was Max Grantwell, which wasn't like Maxwell Grant, like a big like writer like back in like the golden age or whatever.
believe so. Yeah, the name did stick out to me when I saw it on the thing.
Hmm.
I focused
It
more
was
on the
like a
Grey
little
Ghost thing
flipped.
because I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's a very deep cut Batman thing.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, no, the name was like, wait a minute. And then we see Carrie being a badass. Love that. Love
Oh
that
my
for
god.
her. Oh my god. And then I felt really bad for Nocturne when
Yeah,
she was like, I killed my brother, like broken heart,
Haley
breaking
Joe's
down,
Osmond.
and the sun comes up.
Yeah,
Uh,
and she just wants to
and then
die.
and then he covers her with a cape. And the best part of that is he covers her with a cape and starts carrying her. And then as you get the shot of him walking away or whatever, Carrie reaches up and grabs onto his cape and walks
Oh,
by his
oh
side.
god. I was so happy. Like I was just so happy that she was just so. All these kids were fucking adorable. The actors they got to play all these
So
characters were
cute.
great.
So
Um,
good. Mhm.
Typical Stephanie fashion. She barely did anything in this episode, which is not for us. We're like, oh, Stephanie Brown. They were like, we're not gonna do shit for her. Just chill. Like this is the whole joke.
We're not gonna see her. Yeah, she shows up for 2 seconds. That's it.
Yeah,
R.I.P.
Carrie gets lines. I'm sure Stephanie talks, but again, it's fucked up. I can't remember if she does or not.
I think she has like maybe one.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, right. Knowing Stephanie's like history in the comics, that's probably they probably did it on purpose. That's a joke for us. But yeah, Carrie does. She grabs like his little cape. Oh my god! And then just going back to Jason, just worried about his big brother Dickie, and Dickie being an idiot, just jumping head
Hmm.
first. Of course he is. He's like,
Yeah.
why not? Like this weird goth
Hmm.
girl is saying I can go in here. Sure, yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, Dickie had like the typical like Dick Grayson like fearlessness, like diving into things, but also Jason had Chase. Oh my god, so cute. Had
Mhm.
like Robin gives me magic, like joy and
Oh,
excitement for life. That is like so typical of like a pre-death like
uh,
Jason Todd as Robin, and that got to me. I haven't talked to you in a hot minute. But I did a while back make a Jason Todd edit, and
oh
it kind
yes.
of destroyed me.
Yeah, that was I why you said it to me. I watched it. I was like, first of all, very good. Second of all, I was like, I was
Yeah,
thinking the same thing. I was like, this must have like just killed you to make it.
a
It
little bit,
hurts.
a little
The
bit.
pain, like you just like I need the pain. I need to.
Well, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go on a tangent because this is our show and fuck it. But I Peso Pluma like played a show that I worked,
Okay.
and so I had just like his like recent album just playing or whatever while I was working, and he has this song called Bruce Wayne, and in it there's a line where he's like, they don't see me as a superhero anymore. And I was like, if that's not the most Jason Todd ass
Yep.
motherfucking line. And so I had to like go back through it and like really like figure out the lyrics and then I started like having this idea in my head and I was like, and I don't really like I'm not a super strong editor and I've never made a character edit before. So I was so nitpicky and there's a couple like little like technical things that were wrong that I really want to fix, but I was like I need to like finish it and be done with it.
You need to
Anyways,
get
I
out of your
posted it.
brain
It
so
did
it's
pretty
not.
well, I think. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but it
I
was
think so.
fun.
Yeah. No, that was definitely good. And you said it to me. I was like, now I'm sad. And then I was
You're
like,
welcome.
I know you're sad.
If I remember, I'll link it in the like descriptions of
Yeah,
things
for
for
sure.
this episode. But yeah.
And yeah, this episode also pays off to the C plot where we finally, we built up on Harvey kind of being a dick and kind of being a little more corrupt than we thought, and he fully goes into the corruption and starts taking money from Rupert Thorne. That C plot
Yeah, he
comes out of
does.
nowhere, and then he's bribed into, or he's told to drop this one case. When it comes time, he says
Mhm.
no. Says no. He actually
Mhm.
stands up to his morals, and it's the Harvey we know and love, and then immediately gets acid in the face and turns into Two Face, and that's
Yeah.
how the episode ends. And I was
Mhm.
like, overall, episode 8 to me was my favorite in the whole season.
Oh yeah, I think it's the best overall.
As a lover of the Robins and to see these
Yeah.
adorable versions of them, um, the villain was great. Nocturne was great. The resolution to Nocturne stuff was great. Batman showing his humanity and like covering her and be like, no, you're not gonna die. I got you. Leslie Tompkins, just being awesome as always. And you kind of see Bruce opening up. Like this is kind of where the floodgates start opening up for Bruce, where he's starting to he's still gonna be Batman, but he can be a little bit more of a person, you know.
Mhm.
Um, which takes us into the two-part finale. Episode 9 starts off the killer inside of me. Um, I mentioned Lon Chaney in episode 1 with a lot of the stuff that we got with Clayface,
Mhm.
alongside the dense scarring in
Yeah.
this was really interesting to see because it did again have a very Lon Chaney 50s esque like look to it, right? Where like we didn't have the
Yeah.
MPA at this yet, so like it was gruesome, but it could be worse if
Mhm.
we had modern like prosthetics that we do in movies now. Like, could you imagine that with no MPAA? Like, Two Face would look
God.
crazy, and
Yeah.
that's what we got a little bit. It wasn't
I
too
really
outlandish.
liked how they did, especially like the hair split, because usually it'll be like a really stark, like black and white. I
Mm,
liked that it was like his darker hair and then a more grayish on the other side, like
mm-hmm.
the like acid damage, whatever. And then yeah, the way like his eyes just mostly like kind of droopy, but that mouth is so gnarly with the teeth and the
Yeah.
jaw like all fucked up. That was really cool.
It kind of screamed of Aaron Eckhart's like scarring that he had, like the more realistic kind of burn scar that he has in the Dark Knight, and what you see there. And there's a shot in the Dark Knight where he drinks. It's I didn't notice it in theaters, and then I didn't notice it on DVD. But when I bought it on Blu-ray, when he takes a shot of whiskey, right here on the side, whiskey comes out, It's a very subtle VFX
Mm-hmm.
thing, and
Yeah,
if
yeah,
you
yeah,
see in the
yeah.
IMAX version or the 4K version, you see it happen, and I was like, wow, just that attention to detail. You kind of get a little bit of that here with Harvey. Diedrich Bader, who voices Harvey throughout this whole season, and Two Face. This is like the second Batman property he's done. He has played Batman before in Batman Brave and the Bold, which is a very Silver Age Batman, which we got,
Mm-hmm.
and he did a great job in that series. That series actually is very good. I believe there's a movie we could talk about it, even though it's Scooby Doo related. But that's where we could kind of deep
Might be
dive
on
in
our
that series.
list.
Well, if not, we'll add it. It could be like we ran out of episodes, so we gotta talk about Scooby Doo and Batman Brave and the Bold. um, Not a horrible movie, but Brave and the Bold is a really good series, and he did an amazing job as Batman. And he comes back and is very, very weak-willed Harvey. This Harvey he's kind of a chicken shit. And he mentions it
Oh,
to Barbara in episode 10, and he is, he's not strong. He has the crack in his mentality, where he truly, and it's funny because you don't typically when you see that happening in other media, like I believe in like the anime series and stuff, it is people being like, "Oh my god, look at his face," and then this time, literally, he's at this place and they're like, "Oh my god,
yeah.
Harvey, I'm truly
We're
happy to
so
see
excited to
you.
see him.
Oh my god,
Yeah.
how are you doing?" And then
And
it's
it's just all his psychosis.
mm-hmm.
Like it's all, you know,
It
his
typically
perception of reality.
yeah, and I like we talked about the gender bent version of Penguin we get you know in the last episode we talked about Harley, you know
Mm-hmm.
Harleen being the funny one, and then
Mm-hmm.
Harlequin being serious. In this, the typically when we see the scarring on Two Face's head, the scar part is usually the evil, right? The one that's like
Yeah.
kill them, do this, all this other stuff. The scar in this is the more benevolent side of Harvey.
Mm-hmm.
Like this Harvey is kind of damaged on his normal side, right? Like his normal
Yeah.
quote unquote side is the side that's like I should fucking stab this guy. He's kind of smarmy, he's kind of a dick, and this scarring
Mm.
side is like I kind of deserve what happened to me. I wasn't a good
Yeah.
person. People got hurt because of me. I kind of deserve this, and like his vain side is the side that's like showing like his handsome side is the side that's like
Mm-hmm.
everyone hates me. This is that like that's where the mental break is happening is on this side. He had
Yeah.
almost like all the stress that he's been put on is the thing that's breaking him mentally, and then the
Yeah.
scarring is just what put him over the edge. But like the scar side is like, hey man, everything's gonna be okay. You know, it's it was
Yeah,
interesting
it's
to
the
change.
trauma of like he was so stressed and determined and would do anything it takes to get what he wanted, and that was
Mm-hmm.
to be elected. And that's the side that's like holding on to that trauma after the attack, and that's the vain side. That's the side that is like what we've seen, the like
Mm-hmm.
true Harvey or whatever. And the Two-Face side is the side that's like, all right, like I'm gonna leave this up to fate. Like you know, I did horrible things and horrible things happened to me, and I think that's a really interesting dichotomy. And I really loved the flip of instead of the world being out to get him, his brain has convinced him
Mm-hmm.
that the world is out to get him. And like it kind of is, he was attacked because he did go back on Thorn and his
Mm-hmm.
word or whatever. But the people around him just want him to be happy and healthy and to recover and to get back into the world and enjoy his life again. And he just can't conceive of that in any possible way.
Yeah. Yeah, he like fights against it actively, and that's where it was funny because it became a full circle moment for me where I was with you with his depiction. You don't have that like altruistic side. You don't have something to root for. But when this happens and he's like, no, I am at fault. I've done all this stuff and like
Mm-hmm.
nobody would want to be with me. And like you see the world around him be like, hey, oh my God, I'm so happy to see you and not being facetious, like generally happy to see him. That's when the sadness came for me. I was like, oh man, this sucks. This sucks so bad for him because like he can't see
Mm-hmm.
that the world is happy to see him. Like
Yeah.
like they want him to be okay and he's not okay. And then of course in this, we also get some of his psychosis being pushed because Bruce, the mission, pushes Harvey over the edge.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
Alfred
my
warns him
first
constantly.
problem, yeah, my first problem with this Bruce and Harvey
Mhm.
is why on earth would Bruce like vote and campaign for a Harvey like that? And that was a
Yeah.
sticking point throughout the whole series. And then to get to this episode where Bruce is like, Brucey to Harvey is like, I believed in you. Like, I wanted you to, like, accomplish this, whatever. While also, like, undermining his recovery to, try to force him out of his comfort zone, talk about this trauma he's not ready to process or open up about, just
Mhm.
so that Bruce could take revenge on his behalf when it's not asked for,
Yeah.
right? And
It's only been two
for
weeks too.
Alfred to, yeah, it's so recent, and Alfred's constantly like, hey, this is the consequences of your actions. Hey, you are actively damaging another human being that you claim to care about. And like, I get it is the thing. It's like sometimes you get so caught up into what you feel like you need to do that you cannot fathom how your actions are impacting the people around you. And you're just like, if I accomplish this thing, everything will be fixed for them. But that's not how people work.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, like I'm so conflicted because, like, A, like, I just really don't buy that this Bruce would care about this Harvey and be invested in that
Hmm.
at all. But B, like, it's a really interesting presentation of how incredibly flawed Bruce is as a person and completely unable to read other human beings.
Yeah, and it's easy for us to transition right over to episode 10, which is called Savage Night. It's the season finale. Because with that, you get a little closure at the end, unfortunately, when Harvey dies, and he dies a good man, saving Barbara from a final shot from Flass. In that episode, we find out that Rupert Thorne has put a hit on Den has killed a bunch of people at this point. As Two Face, he is constantly being teased, by the way, that he's Two Face. The coin, the two-headed
Mm-hmm.
man at the carnival, and things like that. Um, but he murders a couple people on Thorne's side, and then does let some people go. He lets like that one
Mm-hmm.
girl go. He just gives her money. He's just like, nah, get out of
Yeah,
Gotham, like never
the
come back.
ex-girlfriend of the
Mm-hmm.
dude who like but
She was like,
yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not staying here. Fuck this. You've given me literally given me a chance to escape. Um, but Thorne puts a hit out on him. So it's basically the GCPD against Barbara and Jim
Yeah,
again.
truly.
Um, this is where Harvey and Flash almost have like a disagreement. Harvey does play a little mind games with them, but Barbara is constantly in this episode showing just how much of a good character she is. Right? She's constantly like,
Oh yeah,
"You
she's
deserve
incredible.
better." Yeah. He's like,
Hmm.
"I don't." And he's like, "No, everyone deserves better." Like,
And she chooses to represent him. He did not
mhm.
ask for her. He didn't believe
He
he
actively
deserved her.
fights against her. Yeah. To
Yeah.
like, he's like, "I don't want you." Like, I don't
No.
want this. And that's like the vain half. And then when the scarred half like speaks, it's like, hey, I don't deserve this, and
Hmm.
you shouldn't help me. Like, I deserve to rot. I've killed people. I've done horrible
Hmm.
things, and he's remorseful. And you have this really cool, chase sequence throughout Gotham of Bullock and Flash like trying to kill, at this point, Barbara and uh Harvey. So many cops are
Because
going after him
Babs fucking handcuffs herself to him
like a badass because she's
like a
just that
badass.
good of
Yeah.
a character. Um, and you get to the slow realization, and Alfred's like really trying to impart, and Bruce like, dude, this is all because of you. Like,
Hmm.
there's a good chance like we might have not gotten a Two Face, in the
Hmm.
traditional
Yeah.
sense if
He might
Bruce
not
didn't
have
push
broke
him
like
so
that.
early. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it was there. He was on the edge, and Bruce is the thing that pushed him over just to get answers. And he got the answer, but look at the cost. Like he lost a friend.
Hmm.
They lost someone that they could rely on and who they believed in Harvey Dent. Um, they even lost Two Face. Like he's just dead. And it worked in this season. Typically, when they kill off a villain like that, I'm not like I'm like, "Ugh, it's always weird when they do it in movies. I'm like, well, that's not how the
Hmm.
comic book go. But
But it
this
really
universe,
served his character.
yeah, it felt good. Like it felt like he needed
Hmm.
to. Like he felt happy
Like
in the
he
moment.
earned it. Yeah.
He did something good at the end too, as opposed to
Hmm.
like Two Face that we're used to. In the
Hmm.
situation, and we almost see, and I have the one quote that we have for drama class is the ending quote from this
Yeah, we'll
episode.
get to that. I do want to give a
Mm.
honorable mention to a line that did not make drama class, but I adored, was when Bruce just fucking shows up in her office and she's like, "Do you ever use the door?"
I love that. I
No,
love
no,
it.
he doesn't.
No.
Um, I did have another gripe with this episode, which was that the scene where somebody shoots a Batman and he like grabs the gun and like shoots like around the head.
Yeah.
That's fine, whatever. Like at first I was like, what the fuck? I had to rewind and like actually pay attention to the scene. But my real problem is after he did that, he tossed the gun into the like harbor. Like first of all, A, you
That's
shouldn't be
evidence.
shooting that gun. It's evidence. But B, you you actively are tampering with evidence of a crime scene. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Moving on.
Oh my god. Yeah, no, it was hilarious to see that. And it was cool because they really played it up because it was we're so used to Batman, what we know nowadays, but like when he had the gun in
No
his hand,
guns,
when
like
he picked it up,
trauma,
it literally in
whatever.
my head I was like, "Oh my god, that's right. Golden Age Batman had a gun with him and he killed people."
Yeah.
And I was like, and then he
Hmm.
started shooting. I was like, holy shit, is that how we're gonna end the season? Like this is a truly different Batman. And he just went around
Hmm.
them and he became the traditional Batman that we know and love
Hmm.
at that moment. And he didn't kill Flash. Him and Bullock are like most likely probably going in Black A. We might see more of them in season 2. Hopefully we do because they were very interesting characters. Um, and then you get this very poignant ending where you see like Thorne gets outed. He's even making fun of the fact that Harvey died with a bullet to his back. He's like he basically like he died like a bitch. And then
Hmm.
this battering from across the street in a high rise comes in and you get this brilliant
Just
homage.
scratches the
Yeah.
cheat.
You get this brilliant homage to the animated series, Deanie and Tim's, where you see Batman and this lightning and his cape's
Hmm.
bellowing behind him, and
Fucking love that shot. So
it was
good.
such a great way to end this season. And then you get this final teaser because again, can't be a Batman property without the Joker, and like most season ones or beginnings, like Batman Begins, we're gonna tease at the very end. They're like, "Hey, the real bad guy's gonna come," of course. And it's gonna be interesting when we get this Joker, because obviously it looks like he's like creating his Joker Venom for the first time because he's like testing it out. And this
Hmm.
version of the Joker Venom looks so fucking painful. They always look painful, but like something about their face where you can see right behind their teeth this time around.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that was so disturbing.
And honestly, like it was a great shot and a great tease. But what it made me more excited for was like I really want to see fear toxin in this universe. Give me Scarecrow. Like
Oh
I want to
yeah,
see how they
they teased him so
because of
much in
the way they
episode 5 and everything. Well, I'm sure we'll get him.
yeah, I'm sure we'll get him, but like the way they set up the Joker and the like chemical elements within this universe and the way they interact with the world that we got with Clayface and with Two Face, kind of. I really want to see what fear toxin looks like and how that interacts
Hmm.
and how they adapt that.
Yeah,
I think that would be
yeah,
fascinating.
especially again after what we saw with Firebug. Uh,
Perfect.
where you see like how he views the world, and that's
Hmm.
just his mental illness, his psychosis, and his arson, tendencies. To see, I wonder how they would animate that. It's always fun to see, like in Batman
Hmm.
Begins when they show it, and the bad guy see Batman, he's got like this like weird ooze coming out, and he looks like a demon bat, or there was supposed to be teases of Batman Forever, stuff like that too. Um, when you see in these properties, it's always fun to kind of see it or how it's interpreted. But this universe specifically and how their attention to, like, it'd be fun because in my head I'm thinking like it could be like a pulpy horror, like Dracula, like Bela Lugosi kind of, feeling to it, or Lon Chaney again to mention him as Frankenstein. Would it be something like a Universal monster or Jekyll and Hyde
Mm-hmm.
or anything like that, or would it be something truly like unique that we've seen, like Firebug's Vision? You know,
Mm-hmm.
I,
There's so
I
many options.
yeah,
I
I
have
feel
no
like we
idea where
have
they're
to
gonna
get
go with it.
Scarecrow in season 2, especially. I mean, he's not like voiced or anything, but the fact that Harley has the book, she mentions a teacher, Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Crane, and it was like, oh, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is
Yeah.
you're teeing him up, like he's gonna
You're setting
happen.
him up. Yeah, he's gonna be here
hmm
one way or another.
So yeah, that is episode 10, and that's the season finale of Batman Cape Crusader. Now we're gonna move on to drama class.
Mm-hmm.
I pulled specifically only from episode 10, and this final line. Um, do you want to be Alfred and I'll be Batman?
I always want to be Alfred.
Okay,
What kind of question is that?
there we go. I'll let you handle the narration as well to what's going on in
All
this one.
right. Sitting at a desk in the Batcave, Batman stares mournfully at a Dent for Mayor button.
I saw something in him when he went over the edge.
Something that reminded you of yourself? So Alfred walks over. Listen to me, sir. Harvey Dent was twisted by ambition. He lost sight of his own humanity. That isn't you. You're still inside there, Master Bruce. I see it more and more all the time. You've even made friends in your own way. Batman thinks of what Alfred said while looking at the aforementioned button.
4 of us against the endless tide. Dent was right. Those are terrible odds.
Puts the button down and gets up from his chair.
But I'll take them.
Walks over to the Batmobile.
Thank you, Penny.
Turns to face him.
Alfred. Thanks, Alfred.
Rides out in the Batmobile while a deeply touched Alfred looks on. Yeah, he does.
Great.
Yeah. They kind of got me with that one. As much
Oh,
as
it
I
was so.
wanted to hate their relationship throughout the
They
show,
brought it at the
by
very
the
end.
end,
Yep.
at the very end, they tied it up with a nice little bow. Yeah, so many times throughout, especially this back half, there's so many notes I had like, I can't believe in any universe that Alfred would let his son get away with talking to him like
Oh,
that. Like,
yeah.
I just could not fathom. But yeah, they really got me in the end, not gonna lie. That's fine. Yeah. I get now we have to do a quiz time, huh?
Yeah, we do. We have 2 quizzes. I don't know where my camera
Sure.
went out of. Oh, there it is. I'm back. I was like, what the hell? I looked over at OBS. I'm like, I'm not there. What the hell? I
You
hear
just
you.
disappeared. Yeah.
Yes, we have quiz time. We have 2 questions. They're name related, as I mentioned in episode 1. I was like, fuck, I wrote them, didn't think about them, and then we started recording. I was like, fuck, I forgot how you're not good at names. But we'll start with one
Okay,
I've been
I'll do
teeing
my
up
best.
this whole episode.
Mm-hmm.
Onomatopoeia was created by what New Jersey native turned movie director?
Sure. Oh, movie director. Oh, fuck. Okay. There was the famous dude who did a little bit with comics, and it's the comedian ish, but question mark?
Yeah, he does comedies, yeah.
White guy, bigger,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Comedy movies.
Yeah.
Fuck. What's his name? It's one of the Kevins? Question mark.
That is his first name.
I don't know which one. There's a lot of them.
Kevin Smith.
Kevin Smith. There we go. I got
Yeah.
there eventually. It's
Yep.
fine.
Yeah, no, you get 50, you get half a point on that one because you got Kevin. The other, how I thought about it, because I love Jay and Silent Bob and everything, I was like, onomatopoeia was created by what fat man in an overcoat? Because that's a Jay and Silent Bob thing, and I was like, nah, that's
I
even
would
gonna
not
go,
have
that's
gotten
gonna be
that.
worse. Yeah.
No.
Now, this one specifically is for you. So if you get this wrong, you should be disappointed in yourself.
Oh God,
Renee
setting me up
Montoya.
for failure.
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
Renee Montoya's actor Michelle C. Bonilla also stars in what hit ABC/Fox TV series Sly is obsessed with?
Well, you gave it away with
Oh yeah,
Fox slash ABC. Season 8, motherfuckers. Bee swarm taking over. I'm already proud. It's
Oh my god.
obviously 911. Who does she play?
Which 911?
911.
I mean, there's only
Well,
two.
there's only one that transferred to ABC, so either you're incorrect or it's OG.
Oh, I thought they both did. All right, so it's Lone Star.
No, okay, if it did not, it's Lone Star. Okay, okay. Who's she on Lone Star?
Let's see. That was like the first credit that popped up. I was like, oh, hold on.
Alright,
uh,
alright.
Sarah Ortiz in 9 episodes of Lone Star.
Or cheese. Oh my god. I have to look at her face. Is she one of Rob Lowe's love interests?
Apparently,
'Cause
that
there's
man
like
has a couple
15
in
of
that
them.
show. Yeah, from the little I've
He
watched.
has so many. Yeah, uh-huh.
Shit,
And
Liv Tyler's in this
unfortunately,
show?
none of them. Yeah, Liv Tyler's definitely in that show.
The fuck?
Hey, oh, fuck. Yeah, she is in 911 Lone Star.
It said 9
Good for
episodes, but
her.
they put her like as like there's like the top credit. Like no for 911 Lone Star, Batman Craig Crusader, Clemency, and the Casa Grandes. And I was like,
She
fucking
was on
what?
one episode of Grey's Anatomy.
Oh yeah. As a random doctor. Forspoken. Because we all played that
Oh,
game.
she was in fucking Back for Blood.
Yeah, we all played that one. We tried. A lot of us tried.
Tried. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
Castle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, 9 episodes, and apparently, I mean, is she a big character? The Last of Us?
She has an arc.
Oh, okay.
She's there. She's doing things.
Now, is she one of the love interests, the many, as you mentioned?
So don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I feel like every woman within a certain age range on that show eventually is,
You just
at least in his mind, a Rob Lowe love interest. It's a problem.
you just eventually have sex with Rob Lowe if you're straight and near him.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
I have to look this up now.
Yeah, it was like the fact that they put like up and center, you know. Ooh, General Hospital. There you go.
Yeah, it was season 3, so I do not remember the season very well.
But she killed it. She killed it in the whole episode. And that's when I was like looking more into her. I was like, damn. I was like, Montoya is so good in this series. Like, I wonder who plays him. And I was going deep at IMDb and I saw 911. I was like, haha, got my question. Done.
Yeah, that was the whole Texas ice storm season arc, you know? It was the beginning of the downfall of 911 Lone Star. Is all I'll say about season 3.
Was there a season that's dedicated
Yeah,
to
but
ice
she's
storms?
there.
What the fuck? I thought just like
That was
random
the
shit
whole,
happens.
opening. So with this is not a 911 podcast. If you want to hear my thoughts on 911, you can check out Thirsty Thursday. But so 911 seasons will typically have like an opening and closing arc where it's a multi-episode like emergency. And so the opening of season 3 was like this 3-episode run. There was like multiple comas. It was the whole thing. But
Oh
it
my
was like
God.
right after the like huge winter storm in like Texas, like the year prior or
Oh,
whatever.
like the real one, yeah.
Yeah, the real one. And then they made it into a fictionalized event that was something.
Crazy. Oh, Ryan Murphy. You crazy motherfucker. All right. So that is our special second bonus episode of DC Graduates as we talked about Batman Cape Crusader. We could kind of talk final thoughts and then I'll wrap in the Andrea Romano roundup because we didn't do it this episode or the last. because I have some thoughts I wanted to save to now. Again, that's our segment where we shout out the amazing voice director, Andrea Romano. But Sly, let's start with you. What are your final thoughts on the overall season one of Batman and Cape Crusader?
I really liked it. Shout out Mario. Thank you so much for bullying us
Truly,
into
thank you.
watching
Yeah.
this. I probably would not have gotten around to it for like 3 to 5 business years
Yeah,
without
probably. Same.
interference. So I'm really happy that I knocked it out while it's still kind of in the like cultural zeitgeist. It's still on people's minds. I could still like be like, hey, you should watch this kind of newish TV show, and then we can talk about it. I thought they did an excellent job with a couple characters, and I think they made some bold choices with some others.
Hmm.
You know, some characters really hit for me, some characters did not. I love that, like, I mean, sexism existed, but it wasn't like blatant discrimination for the most part. Within like workplaces or whatever, like these women have jobs, they're thriving. I love that like queer relationships and characters can just exist and it's not a big to do, like they
Hmm.
don't draw any attention to it, they just exist and kind of live within this universe in a really beautiful way. And I think the way they play with storytelling was really well done. I mean, they have an incredible set of creatives and writers here to shape this season, but every episode was so good at hitting that feeling like a contained episode while also really bringing through a strong C plot to tie together the entire season. And you know, some episodes like really hit, like the Montoya episode hit, the Harley episode hit, um, the Robbins episode hit. And yeah, I'm really excited. I think I'll need to revisit this in a couple months and like really get my thoughts together because I did binge that through this weekend. Um, but yeah, overall, I had a great time. I had a great time chatting with you about it,
Hmm.
and I'm glad we watched this and talked about it on the internet. You know?
Yeah. Thank you, Mario, for bullying us and watching this. Well, jokes aside, though, I mean, the series is good. It is really good.
Hmm.
At no point that I think it was like standing in the way of the animated series. It was doing its own thing. I was very pleasantly surprised with what they did. It is easy to see Bruce Timm's name associated with Batman and think the animated series or the Diniverse, and what we just
Hmm.
talked about in season one of DC Graduates. But this felt special. The acting was top notch. They got amazing voice actors for this. Um, and there is something here that is very special. I wanted to with the roundup because that's how I'm using my notes
Hmm.
here, at least my final thoughts.
Yeah.
I wanted to shout out again. We've talked about him before, but uh, TikTok personality, the Panda Red, who does all these amazing DC
Oh
shorts
yeah,
and
yeah,
everything
yeah,
like that,
yeah.
and he kind of broke down Cape Crusader in a very interesting way, where he talked about it doesn't work for obviously every Batman series because we have 2004
Hmm.
Batman. This doesn't fall in that flow, but when you have the animated series, the '90s one that we've talked about in extensively in the Diniverse, that was specifically a correlation and building upon what we had as modern Batman. This dark, brooding Batman. This not like Adam West, not the '66 Batman, and more aligned with Michael Keaton. That dark, brooding, a little weird. This grittiness that comes to that Tim Burton's version of Batman, and also what we seen with Frank Miller, with Year One and The Dark Knight Returns. And then one of the biggest notable jumps series wise, again, 2004 doesn't fall in this like kind of thing that Panda was doing, but when you get to Batman Brave and the Bold with Diedrich Bader, as we mentioned, that is very much a Silver Age story where he's teaming up with all these wacky characters. He's going to space. He's doing this. He's doing that. That fits so well into what that series is structured, how it's structured. They have some very good moments in that series, especially with an episode dedicated to Joe Chill. Highly recommend watching that episode if you want. It's a very very good episode.
Hmm.
But like how they portray the characters, how they look, how they act is very campiness, and we're going back to some of that like 66 Batman-esque stuff, and it works. It works really well. And then, and that was like the 2010s and stuff like that. But now to be here in 2024 and the Batman series that we have now goes all the way back to the golden age, of when these detective comics was created. Not There wasn't no DC comics. There's detective comics and action comics, and the Batman and Superman and all these these Fleischer cartoons and these serials that we had for Batman and Batman and Robin, and how serious the tone was and everything like that. To have what we have now with that is very interesting to see how they did in 2024. The respect they showed the character, the fun that they had with these characters, and not necessarily just jumping in and being like, it's completely golden age and it's this and that and like it has to be this way. And they're all dames and they're all, damsels in distress and all this stuff. But you get straight up in episode 2, Montoya is a badass, and like the badass that we've always known her to be from the comic books and the series. And she's so well portrayed. And you get Harley, who is a flip to a certain degree of what we see in the comics and stuff like that. And it's his own interpretation, but yet so faithful. And you get this chicken shit Harvey, who then finally does something good at the end, and it's the Two-Face side that's the good part, not the bad part. You get onomatopoeia as a weird thing that almost crosses the line and almost jumps the shark, but it doesn't. Um, this series is very good, and I can't wait to see what they do with season 2. It is. I would highly recommend people go out and watch it. If
Hmm.
you got this far in this episode and you somehow didn't watch it, we spoiled the shit out of it. I'm so sorry. Go watch it though for your own
I think
context,
you'll still
and
have a great time regardless.
oh,
Yeah.
absolutely, and come back here. Hamish does an amazing job as Bruce Wayne and Batman, and further like showcases that like Batman is the main persona and Bruce is not. Um, the relationships he has, the deviations we get story wise are really amazing. Um, and I it's funny to see a lot of people talk about this in such high regard because almost in my head, in not a negative way, I wouldn't have thought that a golden age Batman story would work, right? Because in my
Hmm.
head, if you do that for Superman,
Yeah.
I don't know if
Theoretically,
that
it
would
does
work,
not work
you
in
know?
2024. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's like a big thing, like when cheek pop for me, but when me and Greg talked about the meaning of Superman and how we do love Christopher Reeve, but we have very similar thoughts of where you have Superman the motion picture and Superman 2, the Donner cut. We love these movies, but they're not the Superman that is around now. That is the Superman of the 70s, and it doesn't work now. Like, I don't know, with a character outside of Batman, could you do a Golden Age story and do it well? Like, could you do that with the Flash? Maybe you could do Jay Garrick, but I don't know if you get a whole season like you do here.
Yeah.
Um, could you do it with Superman? Maybe, but so many people already have an issue with Superman where he obviously he wouldn't be as strong as he is now in
Hmm.
continuity stuff. But like, I don't know how many people know that Superman fought like, corrupt tenement owners, and
Hmm.
he did fight the mob in his own way using journalism and all this stuff. Like, would I want to watch that? Absolutely. But I also
Yeah, that would be
tattooed
great.
Superman on my arm, and I named my son after a character of the House of L. Like, of course I'll be there day one. But
Yeah.
this works so well in that noir, that golden age, that this beautiful 40s aesthetic. And it's a commending effort that these people managed to get this done. And I can't wait for more. I can't gush about this any more than it is. It's a really, really surprisingly good series. And
Yeah.
again, all I can say is I highly recommend that you guys watch it. And yeah. But before we leave,
I have a quick thing I
oh,
want to
yes, please.
do. Because we've spent so much time talking about season one. I'm pretty sure there's a season two coming. I just want to
Mhm.
do a rapid fire like what is on your wish list to see in season two, and I can start if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. Go. You start.
All right. I want a Bruce training flashback,
Mhm.
preferably including Nanda Parbat. I think that would be awesome. I want to see Crane, as we've mentioned. I really don't want to see Joker. Like, I want Joker to be at most like the C plot of season 2. I tease that out, like chew on that, eat that up.
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see Harleen and Montoya go on
Ugh,
more dates. I want them to be
I
happy.
need one
Let
more day
them
at
let
least.
them let them have joy. At least one more date, if not more. Oh frick, I had one more. Oh, and I want to see the children. Like, I don't care. Like, I don't want them to be Robins yet. Like, they don't need to be adopted. I just want them to exist in this like city and
Mm-hmm.
them to randomly pop up here and there. Oh, and my last thing is I really want to see them be super intentional about growing and building on Bruce and Alfred's relationship. I have so many more. I keep getting
Yeah.
lost in the sauce.
I
But specifically their relationship, I want to see it become the relationship I was expecting. And then my final one was I want to see more Bruce Wayne. This season we got a lot of Brucey and we got a lot of Batman. But we did not get a lot of Bruce except for when he was chewing out Alfred. And that's not the Bruce I want to see, you know?
No, yeah, like I want to see more of the Bruce that was speaking to Leslie.
Yes,
That's
that.
when the mask came
Exactly.
down a little bit. He wasn't Batman,
Hmm.
he wasn't Brucey, he was that little boy again, for a split
Hmm.
second. He had this admiration for this person who helped him in his time of need. I agree with you. I think I it sounds funny saying it out loud, but I would love to have an episode similar to in the animated series, where there is a Carrie Kelly in that. We had an episode where these kids are telling tall tales of Batman, and it was the animators were
That was
able
an
to.
excellent
Oh yeah,
episode. Yeah.
yeah. And Carrie's episode
Mhm.
was the Dark Knight Returns, in the
Mhm.
animated series style. I would love to have something like that where it's a slice of life episode where you see, Dickie, Jay, Stephanie, and Carrie interact in the orphanage, go to school, everything like that, and just be these, orphan siblings who are just watching out for each other, but see the world of how they see Batman, how they admire
Mhm.
Batman, and kind of build on that.
Mhm.
Like, do we ever have to see them as Robins? No.
I
Um,
don't think we do.
yeah,
In
could it?
this universe, at least.
Yeah, could they make it work? They probably could. Honestly, they made onomatopoeia work, so they probably could make
They
it
did.
work. Um, but I don't know if this Bruce needs, the Robins.
And I don't
Um,
know if that's what I want out of this show.
no, because he's already getting his character growth, right? He's,
Mhm.
not calling, Alfred Pennyworth, like calling him Alfred. Kind of
Finally.
acknowledging his issues that he's the reason why Two Face killed people.
Mhm.
And slowly building into this hero, right? That we see. I agree with you, especially with something that, and when it comes to the Joker, when you have something that is very like, of course we're gonna have Joker. Let's always use the Joker. Maybe Matt Reeves obviously is, I believe, a producer on this. Um, and he directed the Batman with Robert Pattinson.
Mhm.
Let's use the same concept there, right? Not necessarily that he's like a profiler and he's like Hannibal Lecter asking Barry Keoghan's, playing the Joker in that. But maybe we only saw the Joker twice in that film. And it was
Mhm.
more like, oh my God, so we have a Joker in this universe. He's established. Cool. Do we
Mhm.
need him for part two? No. He could be the main villain for Batman 3, though, with Robert
Mhm.
Pattinson. Um, Maybe that's what we do here. Maybe
Mhm.
he is the C plot that is overall like causing the biggest issues. Like he's the reason why Crane is going. Maybe Crane's the main bad guy, but
Mhm.
Joker's the puppet, the mastermind behind the puppet, and that's the tease that leads into season
Mhm.
3, and then you get finally this thing that, of course, now we want. Now we want to see what Hamish's Batman versus whoever they get to play Joker is. Do they have that dichotomy that Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill did, in the animated
Mhm.
series? Like, do you get someone who could play off each other so well? Um, Similar to I'm sure we'll get teases of Barry's version more in Matt Reeves' sequel to the Batman with Robert Pattinson. Like maybe we'll build that more. Like, and then again, live action wise, we were like, oh, now we get Joker. That's gonna be fun. to finally see him and Batman go out and fight each other. Let it breathe. There's so many. I mean, Batman and Spider-Man have like two of the biggest like rogues galleries, and we tease Joker at the end. We haven't seen
Mhm.
Roz. We haven't seen. You know what? Who could probably work in this? The ventriloquist as like a, one-off episode. Um,
Bring back Calendar Man. That dude's
they probably can.
vicious.
They probably can make him.
They
Yeah,
could make it work.
absolutely. And he'd be scary in this. Harley
Yeah.
was scary in this. Catwoman was fun. Bring her back for an episode. I want to see more Cobblepot. I want to see more Penguin. There's so much things that they set up in this universe that is so interesting that I can't wait to see what they build upon, what they add to it.
Mhm.
Um, Take their time, but yeah, absolutely. Like, don't rush Joker. Please don't rush Joker. I love Joker. He's a great bad guy, but he's
Mhm.
not Batman's only bad guy. Despite what the Lego Batman would make you think. you know, he's not his true villain. There are other villains out there. But yeah, I mean that's it. I think that's a good way to end the episode too, with our hopes for what we want for season 2, and hopefully we get some of these things. Um, as we end this, Sly, where can people find you?
You can find me you can find me most places on the internet at SlyCloneMC. You can find me on Threads talking shit about sports. You can find me on Point in Progress talking shit about video games. You can find me on Thirsty Thursday talking shit about 911 and 911 Lone Star. Day of the week TBD. By the time you hear this, it's probably announced. We've probably got our shit together. It's fine. Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm doing. Um, yeah, that's all I got.
Nice. So for me, I guess I could. It's not official here, at least, but by the time this comes out, it will be official. I am part of Point of Progress, so you can find me here on
Oh yeah.
Point of Progress. Because that episode should be out. Special one-off podcast episode of Point of Progress where we introduce me. Um, so you can find me here. I'm going to be starting my Alan Wake series. I believe we came with a title, which is it's not a loop, it's a spiral. I believe that's the tentative title for our Alan Wake series for Halloween. And I think Fee has some cool stuff up her sleeve for Halloween stuff as well. And then, Metal Beer Solid's on here. Hilarious time you see, Mario, Frank, and help Harv get through Metal Gear Solid. But for my personal stuff, you can find me at youtube.com/nerdaday, where, I will review video games every once in a while. It's been a long time. But I have Chaos Bringers over there, my Final Fantasy retrospective podcast series, where me, Frank, and Harv, and every once in a while, a special guest, talk about a numbered Final Fantasy entry. We should be doing Final Fantasy 5 soon, but life's crazy, and according to my clock, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. So I can't even think about filming a
Mhm.
Final Fantasy 5 episode right now. But this is all kind of set up, minus like hanging wires and stuff behind me, so don't even worry. That's just decoration. Don't mind that. But that's it. Yeah, that's it for this special bonus episode. Next week, at least tentatively, we have another bonus episode before we kick off season 2 proper.
Listen, I know 2 weeks ago we said the next episode would be this episode. I promise you this time it will happen.
Yeah.
It's already scheduled. It's on the calendar. It will release on
Mm-hmm.
the feeds right after the week after this one. I promise. It's
Yes.
happening.
And yeah, we could just
Mario bullied us into fucking up our content calendar. It's fine.
blame Mario. And then you get to hear us talk about another random ass horny movie in the DC universe, which is Assault on Arkham. Until next time, class is dismissed.